So what's interesting, I was having a discussion last night actually in our Unicorn Academy group. So we have a premium group where everyone pays about $297 a month to be part of, $297 a month, and I forget what question who brought it up, but it was one of the questions that was asked was about ad copy and their copy and their creative and some stuff like that. And what I wanted to make clear to everybody was like we try to attack like marketing in a very like a it's a very singular focused. It's not a like it's very binary. It's very like one to one, one plus one equals two, and so everything we do is about like I'm running this ad, and the goal of this ad is to sell you something, right? And that's the extent of most advertising, most paid traffic you see is company A runs ad Y with the goal of sales, and that's it, right? That's the whole dynamic. That's the whole kit and caboodle. Now the problem is to sell most products, you need to first understand what objections are, right? So what are the primary objections of that individual? Everybody's going to have slightly different objections, but as an aggregate, what are the top objections? And then I need to be able to block those objections. And for most products, unless you're selling, $20 fidget spinners, or like the example I gave yesterday in my live was like, unless you're selling, Deadpool unicorns, right? That cost $15, that anything that combines superheroes and unicorns I'm going to buy. So unless you're selling like these, or you're selling, any of the other like dozens of toys that I have in here that I do not need, you usually need a little bit of selling, right? You need a little bit of objection blocking. You need to overcome those objections. And so we have this dilemma. And the dilemma is I need to block objections. I need to be able to sell. But the medium that I'm trying to sell in is inherently one with terrible, terrible attention spans. So how do you remedy those two things where, hey, I need to sell, I need to objection block, which means I need your attention, but your average attention span is less than 10 seconds. And that's the reality. So the last time, I think all the data I've seen, I don't think they've done the study in a while, but around 2015 was like 8 seconds, right? So the average attention span is less than 8 seconds for most people. And I don't know why I put 10 seconds. So that's a point. Like that should be the point being made right there, is that my attention span was so terrible that I didn't even get the attention span figure right because I couldn't pay attention to it long enough. So I put 10 seconds up there. But I cannot change the live now. So I'll have to go back in time and I'll retroactively change that because it says 10 seconds, but it's really 8 seconds. So it's 8 seconds. So I have less than 8 seconds to grab, to keep your attention, right? And it's less than that, really. It's like you think about how you engage with social, how you engage with content, and you're kind of in this perpetual scroll, right? Where most stuff you see doesn't even resonate with you. And the stuff that does resonate, it's maybe 1 to 2 seconds that you're giving at a time of day. And it's only the rare few videos or articles you see throughout your feed that you actually engage with and spend more than 5 or 10 seconds actually consuming, right? So that's what you're competing with as a marketer. You're competing with that mindset where it's, hey, I'm just scrolling through crap, right? I'm getting hit with stimulus. A lot of people they're scrolling, they're listening, they got TV on, they have multiple displays and multiple sources of content coming in, and they're analyzing at the same time, right? So even if you do have their attention, it's divided attention. It's not full undivided attention. It's divided into fractional attention. So you might get that 8 seconds, but it's 8 seconds of divided fractional attention. And so what we're thinking of now as marketers needs to be, okay, we're not going to change consumer behavior, right? We're not going to roll back attention. We're not going to go back to a time where people actually like picked up books and sat down and gave the book their undivided attention, or sat down at a dinner table and gave the person across from the undivided attention. It just doesn't happen anymore. Go to any restaurant in the world, any restaurant. I don't care if it's Del Frisco's, Ruth's Chris, or McDonald's. You are going to see the same thing. You are going to see families that are not talking to each other. You're going to see dates that are both on their phone while they're sitting at dinner together, even at the nicest restaurants in the world. You're going to go to movie theaters. You're going to be at a movie theater and you're going to see kids sitting in the theater on their phone while they're watching the movie. Like, it is we've broken the dam. There's no going back and fix here, right? We just have too much access to information. We have just this unlimited, untapped access where we can just at any moment get anything we want in our hands at any moment. I want to watch last night's spring training game highlights. I can do that. I want to watch what Gary Vee said yesterday. I can watch that. I want to read a book. I can read that. I want to read the review on Captain Marvel. I can do that. I want to buy a collection of Deadpool stuffed animals. I can do that, right? And I can do all of that while I'm at work, while I'm in a meeting, while I'm on the phone. Like, it's just extreme. And so the focus shouldn't be to try to alter people or to try to force attention on them in mediums that they're just not meant to be undivided attention sources. So now the name of the game is, okay, well, how can I roll with that river? How can I flow with that river and move that person to a medium that is more conducive to selling and giving more undivided attention? So what do those mediums look like? Well, for me, I know, and this is why I'm doing a lot more stuff on YouTube. I know on YouTube, people are more active. Meaning on Facebook, on Snapchat, on Instagram, on all those platforms, people are passively receiving information, right? So when I go on Facebook and I'm scrolling, I don't necessarily have an agenda. I don't necessarily have a goal as to why I'm on Facebook. It could just be I'm bored and I'm scrolling through, right? And sure, some things get my attention. I pay attention to some. I pay attention to others. I don't pay attention to others. But YouTube, right? Like when I go to YouTube, I'm usually looking for something specific or at least a category of content. And so I go to YouTube and I'm looking for, hey, I want to watch Joe Rogan's latest podcast. Hey, I want to learn more about this topic, right? And when I find the video I'm looking for, I spend a lot more time paying attention to that than I do if something just hit me on Facebook or Instagram, right? So we know that. That's just a fact. That people who go to YouTube, people who go to certain channels and certain mediums, they spend a longer period of time there consuming content than other channels. So our goal now with Facebook ads, with Snapchat ads, with Instagram ads is let's try to get that person to those channels as quickly as possible and cost effectively as possible. And then on those channels, we can now leverage the fact that we have more attention and more touch points to do the selling and the converting, okay? So our goal is, hey, let's get them to YouTube. Let's get them onto a webinar. Let's get them to a phone call. Let's get them to an in-person event. Let's get them on our email list. Let's get them on our messenger list. Let's get them into these mediums where I can get their attention for longer. I can objection block in those circumstances. I can sell in those situations. And I can, best of all, leverage the strengths of Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, which is to edutain, right? So it's entertainment, education, but more so really the entertainment. I think that's that the people who are doing really well right now on the paid traffic space understand entertainment better than most, right? So to get people into those other channels, into the YouTube and webinar and email and messenger list and text list and subscribe to your blog and all those things, you need to be able to resonate with what they want to resonate with on Facebook and Instagram, which is they want to see funny videos. They want to read interesting little tidbits and articles. They want to see cute pictures. Those are the things people want. So why try to do something different? Why not give them exactly what they want, but do it in a relevant format for your brand or product, right? You shouldn't be like, if I'm selling, a Facebook course, I shouldn't be throwing up a picture of a bunch of cute puppies and talk about, our 10 favorite breeds of doggies and get them to a YouTube channel. Like there's a disconnect there, right? So it needs to be on the same thread. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be boring and stale. I think I've made this mistake in the past, and I'm just as guilty of this as everybody, of trying to force a lot of information into an ad on the front end, on the cold traffic side, and it just very rarely ever works. So right now our goal is focusing on it, and actually getting more into Snapchat is helping us with this, because Snapchat, the max video length is 10 seconds. So like Snapchat, if you're trying to hit somebody with video over 10 seconds, you can't do it. They have an ad unit that you can swipe to a longer video, but the actual ad unit needs to be under 10 seconds. And so that's kind of forcing us to rethink how we do creative on the front end and how we get people's attention on the front end. And so I'm curious, like, if everyone agrees with this, right? I'm curious to know what other advertisers and marketers think right now, what they're seeing right now in terms of attention spans, in terms of what type of content and copy and creative is working on the front end versus where a lot of their sales are happening, right? So again, like I said, if you're selling impulse buy products, if you're selling low ticket, if you're selling commodity products, fidget spinners, things like that, sure, like image to a product page to a sale works. But if you're selling things like us, like higher ticket info product, you're selling products that require a lot of education, I think the move and the play is quick entertainment, quick hits, get them to engage and go off platform to a channel or a medium where we can have longer form discussions and conversations. And then in those mediums, I can focus on the objection blogging, the converting, the selling, all the stuff that's not as exciting and fun, but it's in a medium where people are more accustomed to that, if that makes sense. Does everyone get that? Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense for everybody in the comments right now, because it's something that's really important. So yeah, the question was, why not just use YouTube ads to capture and market people compared to sending from Snap, IG, and Facebook to YouTube? So I think there's no right answer. So I think YouTube is a great ad channel, right? I think what we're seeing though is like Facebook and Instagram and Snap are great at cost effectively getting engagement and getting masses and getting them to take quick actions, right? I think for most people, and this is just me speaking objectively as a marketer, Google is more complex. Google is a harder ad platform to master. It's a harder ad platform for most people to get started with. It's a harder ad platform to really get dialed in. It requires more creative talent to run a YouTube ad than it does to run a Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat ad. So I think the barriers to entry are much higher for YouTube and Google than Facebook, Instagram, Snap. So I think, hey, if you can run straight YouTube and you're killing it with that, I know a lot of people that are running, YouTube video ads to webinar, and that again just kind of goes to my point, which is, hey, YouTube ads, you're not going to keep their attention that long there either, but you can run YouTube ads to a webinar, right? And simultaneously, the benefit is that you get YouTube subscribers as well. But I think YouTube ads versus YouTube organic are two different things, right? I want to get people I want to diversify my marketing spend. I want to diversify where I'm spending money, where I'm acquiring customers, where I'm acquiring leads across different channels, because they're all going to have different demographics. They're all going to have people in different intent levels, and they're all going to have different economic models. Some might work better for my market than others. I want to test all of them, and the goal of all of them is to move those short attention span users into those mediums where I have their attention. So that's webinars, that's email lists, that's blogs, content, that's messenger lists. That's places where they're looking to consume content. They're basically opting in to receive content from me. There's more intent than I'm pushing content on them. So that's the way I look at it. There's two forms, right? There's the kind of passive ad platforms. So the Facebooks, the Facebooks, the Snapchats, Instagrams, the Pinterest, all, Twitter, all that stuff. That's, hey, I'm not on these platforms to interact with businesses or to get content from those businesses. I'm on these platforms for a social utility, and I happen to get hit by these messages. Okay. Then there's the platforms where I'm going there and asking for content. I'm seeking content. I'm seeking to get knowledge and value, right? So that's webinars, that's blogs, that's YouTube, that's podcasts, right? Those are all channels where I, as a user, am going to, I want things from those businesses, from those thought leaders, from those experts. And so I guess the point of this video at a fundamental level is to move people from the passive to the intent, right? To move people from the channels where they're being advertised to, and instead move them to the channels where they're consuming content. They're basically like asking for the advertising, right? They want the sell, they want the content, they want the knowledge, and they're seeking it, right? And that's, again, YouTube, webinars, podcasts, blogs, all that stuff. And then on top of that, it's like what Nelson said, which is shorter videos are performing better on these channels, right? So Facebook does want you to run few second videos, and there is an inherent benefit in the auction to running shorter videos because that's what Facebook wants. And Facebook, if you do what Facebook wants, you get rewarded, and that's usually with lower costs on the CPM side. So it's a win-win across the board. You're playing to where the platforms want you to play. You're doing what they want you to do. You're operating within what consumers want, right? And you're leveraging the channels that are more intent-based, longer form for the selling. So I think at the end of the day, that was really the purpose of this video, is to, it sounds very obvious, but very few people are actually doing it. But the people who are doing it well are making a lot of money because they understand how people use different platforms and using those platforms on an advertising standpoint as intended. They're not trying to fight consumer behavior. As soon as you try to fight consumer behavior, you lose, right? It's like fighting an ocean. It's fighting a river and trying to dam it up. You can't do it. You can resist it, but you cannot reverse it, right? So what I'd rather do is I'd rather go with the flow and move with it, right? Get all the benefits from it. That's really the big focus. But yeah, so that's that's really my big thoughts. But Kwame, it's a great point. I think YouTube is a great ad unit. I know a lot of people in the info product space that are doing very, very well, running pre-roll and pre-roll videos to webinars, and then selling on the webinars and really crushing it and doing some amazing things. But I think at the end of the day, we all need to realize that this is only going to get worse in terms of the attention spans. We're now dealing with platforms that'll be coming in the pipeline, like TikTok and stuff, that are even shorter, that are going to be even more difficult to grab attention because they're the level of entertainment value is increasing, right? Everybody's becoming an entertainer. Everybody's becoming a content creator. And so now as a brand, like, you need to really step it up because now all the people using these platforms are putting out great content. They're all putting out entertaining content, engaging content. And so the bar is being raised. Whereas before it used to be, hey, the only people that could put out really good, entertaining content were big brands with big budgets that could hire actors and stuff. Now it's become, we've democratized talent, essentially, democratized fame and influence, and given everybody a microphone and a platform to put out content, become influential, become entertaining. And so this has now really created a like powerful opportunity, also a powerful challenge. So Kwame said, besides Ezra's businesses, you know of anyone else doing this multi-channel marketing as well as you mentioned? Every single person that I know that's making a lot of money is doing multi-channel marketing. It's not a matter of like one person, like Billie Jean, Dan Henry, Sam Ovens. Like I can go to the list of pretty much every like info product success story or e-commerce entrepreneur that I know, and they're all doing the exact same thing, right? It's not a secret anymore. It's I know all the media buyers for all these people, and they're all omni-channel now. They're all on native. They're all on YouTube. They're all testing Snapchat now. They're all on, obviously Facebook and Instagram. It's across the board, right? A lot of them are doing affiliate stuff. So it's it's not just a one person doing it. Ezra's probably, for me, was one of the first people to open my eyes to it several years ago, and they've been doing it for a while. But it's pretty much, you go on YouTube now, and you're seeing the same people you see a lot of Facebook ads on now on YouTube, driving to a webinar. Who did I just see? Fred Lamb, my friend Fred Lamb. I just saw a YouTube ad. I've seen more YouTube ads from him pushing one of his Facebook programs, and I see Facebook ads from him. Like, so it's just a laundry list of people. The Morrison brothers, Adrian and Anthony. I just talked to Adrian the other night. They're all investing on a multi-channel, right? They're all looking into doing more YouTube, looking into starting Snapchat, right? So it's across the board. It's across industries. It's across product categories, across price points. But it's definitely the future is understanding that a short attention span. We have an attention economy, and the businesses and the marketers that can understand how to play to the strengths in each platform, and how to know when to entertain and be great at it, and then how to know when to educate and sell and be great at it there. Those are the individuals that are just going to explode. Russell Brunson and others. I mean, Russell's on all the platforms too. So it's like, now that I have the Snapchat Pixel helper installed on Chrome, I can go in and see who has Snapchat Pixels on the website. And it's actually surprising, a lot more people than I thought have Snapchat Pixel installed, right? So I was on consulting.com. So Sam has it on his website. More and more people have Snapchat. They're starting to test it. It's definitely, the people that are making money are not dumb. Like, they see trends, they see the writing on the wall, and they're on it, and they're diversifying. Awesome. Well, that's all the time I got for today, guys. I got to hop on another call right now. But as always, just to recap, you have less than 8 seconds to keep somebody's attention and really, really resonate with them. So start focusing on entertaining and engaging on the platforms where that's the primary purpose, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Snapchats. Get them to those channels where their goal is to consume content, where they want to give attention, the YouTube, the blog, webinars, email, podcasts, and do your objection blocking, your selling, your education on those channels where people are already going to give their attention and they're used to that type of dynamic, right? Don't force education in an entertainment platform, and don't force entertainment in an education platform, right? Understand the strengths, leverage Essentially's platform, work on integrating them into a funnel. It's not just about one marketing channel anymore. It's about multiple marketing channels, multiple touch points, leveraging the strengths of each one to maximize profitability in that attention economy, right? So let me know if you guys have any questions. Hit the comment below if you guys have questions about it, or if you thought this interesting, if you're going to start testing more things, I'd love to hear more about it. And the last thing would be just make sure you subscribe, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook. Hit that subscribe button or hit that notification button so next time I'm live, next time I post a video, you guys get notified. Thanks, guys.